Hi, welcome to the density word problems practice video. So in this video, I'm going to walk through with you all how to solve these problems. So let's do a quick recap. Remember, there are three density equations. The first one, density equals mass divided by volume. This equation, you use this one when you want to find the density, and you can tell that because the density is the variable that is isolated. So you're solving for density here. The second equation is volume equals mass divided by density. And of course, you'll use this equation when you want to find volume. And finally, the last one, if you want to find mass, you use mass is equal to density times volume. Now, the other thing that we talked about last class were the units. So remember, density is made up of two units. Units for density are made up of two things. The first unit that's written will be the unit of your mass. So here G stands for grams. And then the second unit would be the unit for volumes. In this case, it will be centimeter cube. So grams per centimeter cube is how you would read this. Now the unit for mass for this exact density, so let's say you were given this density in grams per centimeter cube, then you know that your unit for mass must be grams and the unit for volume must be centimeter cube. For other units, you can have something like grams per milliliter. Again, the first unit is grams, and then the second unit, milliliter, that's your volume. And you can see that here. And then the last example, we have kilograms per liter. So kilograms is your unit for mass, and the second is your unit for volume. Okay, so here are the instructions. You might want to pause the video so you know what you need to do. As you see in the instructions, there are three steps to solve these problems. First, you're going to read the problem, identify your given, and find. And then you're going to choose the correct equation, so of the three equations we saw before. Once you've done that, you're going to plug in your givens into those equations and then solve. And you want to make sure you don't forget your units. So let's look at our example problem. In this problem, it says, what is the density of an object with a mass of 20 grams and a volume of 7 milliliters? So I'm looking for density. So it says, what is the density? That means I'll be using this first equation because I'm asked to solve for density. That's my first step done. I have identified what I'm asked to find. I've read the problem. I also need to look at what my givens are as well for the first step. So it says with a mass of 20 grams. This 20 is my mass. I know that for two reasons. It says mass of 20 grams. Right? But then also, I always like to follow the units. It makes it a little bit easier. The unit that's written after 20 is grams, and that's a unit for mass. So that means 20 must be mass. And it says, and a volume of 7 milliliters. So the unit after that number is milliliters. So that means that this number here, 7, is my volume, because milliliters is a unit for volume. So once I have that, I'm solving for density. So I go to the next step, which is choosing the right equation. So since I'm solving for density, the equation I'll use is the first one, density equals mass over volume. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop the values that I have into the variables. This is the plugging in part. So that's step 3. So the 20 grams, the 20 is going to go where my mass is, since that's my mass. And the 7 will go where my volume is, since that's my volume. So now I have my density is equal to 20 divided by 7. This is the math I need to do to solve for density here. So I'm going to go into my calculator here, 20 divided by 7. And I get this number here, 2.857, blah, blah, blah. All right, I'm going to use 3 decimal places. So I'm just going to copy that, 2.857, and I plug it in. Now, looking at this answer, am I done? Nope, I can't forget my units. So remember, your units for density are going to come from the units of mass, which is grams, and the units for your volume, which is milliliters. So I'm going to take grams per milliliter, or gram/milliliter, and that's my first one done. Make sure you don't forget your units. All right, let's look at the second example. So in the second example, it says, what is the volume of 220 grams of an object with a density of 55 grams per centimeter cube? So I've read the problem. Now I need to identify what my given and find. So I like to start with the find. I'm asked to find what is the volume. So that's what I'm finding here. And then I'm given 220 grams. So 220 grams, that grams tells me the number in front of it is my mass. Remember, grams is a unit of mass. So the number in front of that must be my mass. So this is my mass. And it says of an object with a density of 55 grams per centimeter cube. I see two units here, grams and centimeter cube. So I know when I see units that look like this, that this number that's in front of those units must be my density. All right, now I need to choose the right equation. So I'm asked to find the volume. The equation I use when I'm asked to solve for volume is the second equation here, volume equals mass over density. So now I'm going to plug in. My third step is to plug it in and solve. So remember the mass is the 220 grams. I'm going to take that, drag it in here for my mass, and then my density is the 55, and I go ahead and plug that in. Okay, cool. So I have 220 divided by 55. That's the math I need to do. So I'm going to go to my calculator. 20 divided by 55. So I'm just solving this equation here. All right, go ahead and press enter. And the answer for that is 4. So that's pretty simple. So I go ahead and type 4 in. Am I done? Absolutely not. Remember, we cannot forget our units. You would lose points if you don't have your units. All right, so we're asked to find volume. Well, what are the units of volume? When you're looking for the units of volume, you're going to go back to your density unit. Now remember, the density, units of density are made up of two separate units. The first one is your mass, so grams will be my unit of mass, and the second one is your volume, so that's centimeter cube. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in, cm3. Notice that that 3 is a superscript or a power. If you want to get it into a superscript or a power, you can just highlight it and then do control period. Control period will give it into a superscript. Or you can just leave it as cm3. That's fine with me. All right, last example. We have an object with a density of 620 kilograms per centimeter cube and a volume of 75 centimeter cube. What is the mass of this object? So I've read the problem. Let's figure out what I'm given and what I'm asked to find. So we have an object with density of 620 kilograms per centimeter cube. I know the 620 is my density for two reasons. It says density of, but also I can always look at the units. The units that follow that number are kilograms per centimeter cube, and that's a unit of density. And it has a volume of, so once again, I can use that volume of to determine that this 75 is the volume, but also the units as well. Centimeter cube is a unit for volume. All right, so I have my density and I have my volume. Those are my given. And I'm asked to solve for the mass, okay? So now I need to choose the correct equation. So based on what I'm asked to find, and what is the mass? So that means I'm going to use this last equation here, mass. And in that equation, it's density times volume. So let me go ahead and plug my density in first. I'm going to grab the density, put it there, and then I'll grab the volume, put it there. So I'm plugging it in, and now I can solve. So my math here says 620 times 75. So let's go over here to my calculator, 620 times 75. Okay, I get this big number here, 46500. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. So that's 46,500. I'll put a comma in. I like putting commas in. All right, am I done? Absolutely not. It says, what is the mass? I need my units. So if I'm looking for mass, that means I go to my density to figure out what unit of mass I should use. The mass unit is the one that's written first, so that will be kilograms. Okay. Now, just so happen in all of these example problems, the numbers are in the same order in which you plug them in. That may not be the case, so you want to make sure you're following the units to figure out where do you plug things in. All right, I hope you found this video helpful. You're going to work on these 6 practice problems that are here and submit when you are done. Have a quality day.